Hello everybody, welcome to Hearthstone. I play this as well, not just Magic, and so the MiniMark channel is not exclusively Magic content. As I said in previous videos, it is mostly Magic content because I really love the game, but I figured, well, I did pretty poorly last week on Friday, besides like one or two really sweet plays, but for the most part I played pretty bad. My draft wasn't the best. I didn't get a lot of the things that I really needed to take off, and because of that, I kind of lagged and died a lot, like every game we actually played. So instead, I figured I'll give you some bonus content on Sunday, and I'll give you some Hearthstone. People tend to like this, and it's a pretty cool game, I guess. So yeah, let's do this. This is the arena. For those of you who don't understand how Hearthstone works, there's this thing called the arena versus the regular play mode where you can be on like a ladder system. What you do here is you pick a hero and then you draft your 30 card deck, and then once you have your 30 card deck, you play with the 30 card deck until you lose 3 times. After your third loss, you get prizes based on how well you did. I tried to do a recording yesterday of all of my shenanigans I did with the Druid deck, and I wound up not recording the actual game footage, so there's some really sweet audio of me talking to myself about the game and describing game states and strategies, and I ended up, playing for 3 hours before I realized that none of my video encoded correctly. So there's this sweet audio track I laid down though. But yeah, sadly there's no replay, so I can't like sync it up or anything. But hey, 'tis life, and I think I got the open broadcaster fixed up, so let's do this. So my options are Thrall, who has a hero ability, Totemic Call. You put a random totem onto the battlefield. There's Valera, who lets you put a 1/2 dagger on, so you can start, stabbing things. And then there's Uther, who makes a 1/1, who can, hit with himself and die because he's a 1/1. Of these, they'll have some pretty cool abilities and stuff that they can do. Valera has some pretty broken starts she can do. Uther is probably going to be a lot of pumping and creature manipulation, and Thrall has removal. And as somebody who enjoys playing red, I like being able to just burn things, and Thrall does that pretty well, so I'm going to go with Thrall. So for those of you who don't understand what you're looking at right now, what we have is we have an Argent Commander, and he has 2 abilities, which you can see right here, Divine Shield and Charge. We'll get to that in a minute, but he also has a Power and a Toughness. The way that this game works is you each start with 30 health and 1 mana. And so on your first turn you have 1 mana, your second turn you get another mana, third you get another mana. And short of a little bit of manipulation of the mana, you really don't ever do anything with it. Like, Thrall will never have more mana than he's supposed to unless he has the coin, which I'll get to later. So basically and also another interesting is cards, their toughness doesn't reset after turns like in Magic, it's permanent. So if this thing takes 1 damage, it becomes a 4/1, and it will always be a 4/1 unless I either heal it or do something else with it, like buff it or something like that. So some of the buffs are permanent, some of them aren't. It's pretty interesting. So some of these cards have keywords. This one has something called Battle Cry, which means when you summon it and it enters the battlefield, you get something to happen. So this one gives all your Murlocs more health. This one has Taunt and Overload. Taunt is based around the mechanic in this game of you can attack creatures or players, but if a creature has Taunt, the subset of creatures that have Taunt, you must kill before you're able to attack anything else with your creatures. You can still, like, Lightning Bolt something else, or whatever it's called in this game, but you can still, like, hit other things with your spells, you just can't attack anything else with your creatures, and creatures are really the main way that you're attacking in this game. Short of a couple mage decks, which can get kind of stupid, you're mostly doing attacking and not just, using spells and stuff like that. And this has Overload as well, which is you have X less mana next turn. So if I play this on turn 3, on turn 4 I go up to 4 mana, and then immediately lose 2, putting me down to 2 mana. So, but that's only for the next turn. The following turn I go back up to 5. So it's a really interesting mechanic because you get stuff that's a little bit ahead of the curve. Like 2 2/3s for 3. I mean, you might not understand how the curve works in this game, but you know that's good. Because that's just way, way above curve. You're typically going to get 1 3/3 with Taunt for 3 mana, so getting 2 2/3s with Taunt is really good, but you do pay for it the next turn. And then Argent Commander has Divine Shield, which is, if it would take damage, ignore it the first time, and then every time after that it takes regular damage. And then it has Charge, which is basically the same thing as Haste. In this situation, with this kind of a deck, I tend to want to be a little bit more on the control side, and Feral Spirits is just, you know, really good value for what it does. This basically can come out and kill, it's going to get a 2-for-1 probably. You're probably going to kill something with 4 toughness or less, and then kill something else with 4 toughness or less on the next turn, or they'll have to spend a spell to get rid of it, or any number of things. And this card's bad because you really can't, in a draft, synergize that well for like a tribal deck. Despite the fact that you would love to, because, you know, they're kind of bonkers if you can do it the right way. So we're going to go with the Feral Spirits. Okay, so we have Boulderfist Ogre, Iron Forge Rifleman, and Dust Devil. Dust Devil shows us another mechanic, which is Wind Fury, which means it can attack twice each turn. Something like a Dust Devil is really good against 6 of the 9 classes, because those 6 classes don't have a way of immediately on turn 2 killing something that has 1 toughness. The Rogue, the Mage, and the Druid all have an ability that can deal 1 damage something on turn 2. And then the Paladin is something that can deal 1 damage something on turn 3, given it survives a turn because it's a creature. So typically something with 1 toughness isn't worth playing, especially when you play it on turn 1 and then you don't get to do anything on turn 2, and it's probably just going to die, you know, a third of the time before you're even able to do anything with it. I mean, it's a good card if you can like play it and buff it, but the odds of that are extremely low. So basically, I don't think I described the curve. The curve is basically, you want this number times 2 plus 1 is like pretty key for just a vanilla creature. This is a 6 mana 6/7. 6 plus 7 is equal to 13. 13 minus 1 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So this is a value creature. It's just, you can just drop it on the battlefield and say, okay, this is on curve. For those of you who don't who understand Hearthstone, I'm sorry I'm giving you all this, but I'll be brief once I get all of this stuff out of the way. And then Iron Forge Rifleman is just a 2/2, so it's well below curve, but it does have the advantage of dealing it damage. But at the same time, Boulderfist Ogre is, I think, the best play here. It's just really big and beefy and does cool things. So Grimscale Oracle again is for like a tribal deck. Ancestral Healing is, I mean, it gives something taunt, which is good if you're like needing some defense, but you typically, if you're playing this card, you're probably not in the best situation. And then Unbound Elemental is 3 mana 2/4, which is a little bit below the curve, but whenever you play something with Overload, it gets +1/+1. And Overload is really big for a lot of the best cards that this deck can have will be Overload. So you're going to be playing a lot of them anyways, so I think it's worth it to pick. Plus a 2/4, typically a lot of 3/2s get played on turn 2 or turn 3. So it's really good to be able to just drop that and say, okay, cool, deal with this. Oh wait, you can't. And you get a 2-for-1 out of it, probably, like most of the time. So we have Darkscale Healer, Stormpike Commando, and Earthshock. Earthshock is our first instance of Silence. Silence removes all the text. So like we have this card, and then we play an Overload thing, and it becomes a 3/5, and then someone silences it. It goes back to a vanilla 2/4. It loses everything on it. It's a really cool ability, and I'd like to see it in Magic because it sounds really interesting. If something has like a Sphinx Jar Isles on the battlefield, and all of a sudden you do that, then it's like, oh well, you know, now it's still a really good card. Maybe like an Oracle Moldiah. All of a sudden it gets silenced. Well, there goes your extra mana. There goes your looking at the top of your library and smoothing out your draws. So it's a pretty good mechanic, I think, Silence. But so we have Healer, Stormkite Commando, and Earthshock. None of these cards are super exciting. Surrounded by Commando can probably pick something off most of the time. Silence is always good to have a couple of cards that can do it, and picking something for one is not always irrelevant, but you know, there are times when it just doesn't do anything. So this is basically just a 1-mana silence most of the time. And then there's just the Dark Scale Healer. So I think it's between these two right now. We can get better silences that are like on creatures. So it's just a better way of dealing with it. Also in this game there's no instants. They're secrets, but they are like, they trigger when an event happens, so you don't really have to worry about someone interrupting what you're doing for the most part. And if they are going to interrupt it, you can probably figure out how they're going to do that. So I think I'm going to just take this Dark Scale Healer. No, I'm going to take the Swarm Pie Commando. It can probably kill something, and a 4/2 can probably get a 2-for-1 out of it. I'm not too happy with any of those cards, though. Alright, so Jungle Panther, Silver Moon Guardian, and Rockbiter Weapon. Rockbiter Weapon's pretty cool. Giving something +3 attack for a turn is often enough to make it trade up, but you're also 2-for-1ing yourself most of the time. The alternative is to use it on yourself, because you're a character. There's characters and minions. Players are characters, and minions are, well, minions. So if you play this out on yourself, you can hit something for 3 and probably kill it. At least in the early game. Maybe in the late game you throw it on something to get a 2-for-1 or to finish the guy off, but, you know, it's fine. Jungle Panther is our first instance of stealth. Stealth means when it enters the battlefield, it goes into stealth, and it can't be attacked or targeted until it deals damage, so basically until it attacks. And then it's out of stealth, and from then on, it can be dealt with normally. And a 4/2 for 3, some of the time, if not most of the time, you're probably just going to play it on turn 3, wait for him to play something you want to trade it off with, and then trade it off. Unless you're in a situation where you play it on turn 3 and he doesn't do anything the next turn, and then you're like, well, I guess I can just start beating down for 4 every turn. 4 is a decent chunk to take out of somebody with 30 life, you know, if you have it consistently like this. So I think I'm going to take that. That seems like a good play. Oh, the other card was, you know, whatever. So we have the ability to summon totems, and Totemic Might gives all of our totems +2 health. The issue is you're probably not caring that much about your totems. Like, you're basically playing them because they have some marginal upside, like they have Taunt, or they're a 1/1. They give you some spell power, which is like, if I had a spell power out, this becomes deal 1 damage, or deal 2 damage to something, which is good. And then there's one that heals all of your minions for 1 at the end of every turn. So, you know, marginal stuff, but I don't think you really want to spend a whole card on that. Earthshock again, I think we can get this again later, but something like a Gnomish Inventor, a 2/4 that draws you a card, it replaces itself, it can trade decently against stuff with 2 toughness, or it can, you know, go for a 2-for-1 where you trade 2 of your creatures away, but you also drew a card, so it's not as bad, it's more tempo. So we'll take Gnomish Inventor for now. I was really hoping to get some more removal. We haven't really seen much besides like the ping spells, but hopefully we'll get more. So a 3/2 for 2 is really good, especially when it has upside like this. Girabashi Berserker is really good in decks, or in mage decks, because mages have the ability to deal a damage to it, which means it can go up to a 5/6 immediately, which is on curve, and then after that you can ping it again, and then it's a 8/5, and that's just kind of silly at that point. And also for Priest, because it can deal damage to something, and then a Priest can heal it, and then it can basically just become gargantuan. Earthen Ring Farshinger, heal 3 health, typically not that good of a thing to do, especially when I have the alternative of a Swamp Ooze. A 3/2 for 2 with upside is really good in this format, and I don't really think I have a way of consistently getting multiple hits on my own Berserker without it dying, so we're going to take the Ooze. Alright, Chillwind Yeti, Ironbeak Owl, and Grizzly. Ironbeak Owl is one of the silences on a stick. The issue is it's a 2/1, so he can get picked off pretty easily, and at that point you'd almost rather have the 1 mana thing, because it doesn't hurt your curving out as much. And Chillwind Yeti is pretty much universally thought of as like one of the most efficient cards. It's just it doesn't do anything fancy. It just comes out on turn 4. It's bigger than anything else that's been played so far, and it's probably going to get a couple trades, and it's just a solid piece of meat to throw it on the table. And I think I like it better than the Iron Beak Owl right here. Again, there's a lot of ways I can silence, and I'm kind of hoping I can get a better one. But if it starts getting late and I'm not finding any, then I'm more than willing to be like, okay, fine, I'm not getting anything right now. Let's, grab up some of the less efficient silences. But it's something I'm going to start looking out for. Shattered Sun Cleric, Battlecry gives something +1/+1. So it's a 3-mana 3/2, which isn't that good, but you give something else +1/+1, and that +1/+1 has like a pseudo haste on it. So it's pretty good. The issue is if you ever play it on its own, it's really underwhelming. The Rockbiter weapon again is fine, but I think these two are definitely the two that we're picking. Flesh Eating Ghoul, whenever a minion dies, it gets +1 attack, which means if you play it and then trade two creatures, or you trade a creature for one of their creatures, it's immediately a 4/3, which makes it worth it. But I think I'd rather have the Shattered Sun Cleric because we have a way of making them totems, but the totems can't attack if they don't have any power. So there's only one of our totems that we can actually attack with. So I'll take the Cleric now. All right. Mana Wraith makes all minions cost 1 more. That's yours and theirs. So it's a pretty interesting thing. We don't have any secrets, so this card's just absolutely useless. And Lightning Storm is just really powerful. You let them go like turn 1, they play something, turn 2, turn 3, they play something. And then you take your turn and you're just like, alright, all of your stuff is dead. Nice 2 for 1, 3 for 1, sometimes even more if you're lucky. So I'm going to take the Lightning Storm. Alright, Core Hound, you may be looking at this and saying, wow, it can do 9? That's insane. Well, the issue with it is 5 is not too terribly difficult to do on turn 7. You can sack 2 small creatures that you're probably not doing anything with anyways into it, and it just dies. It doesn't have haste, it doesn't have taunt or anything cool, so it's kind of useless. War Golem, you're paying an extra mana for an extra power over the Boulderfist Ogre, so that's also not that good, and this thing has Enrage, which is the first time we've seen this. While it's damaged, so when it's less than its maximum health, it has a new power, which is +3, and also has Taunt. Typically, I don't like these because an Acidic Swamp Ooze trades for it, and it costs 1 less, and it has to trade for it. But at the same time, no, I think I'm going to go with one of the 7-drops, and I think it's the War Golem. Yeah, it's not that efficient of an upgrade over the Boulderfist Ogre, but it's fine. I don't really think I want to have a derpy early drop like that. Okay, so Nightblade, Soothing Moon Guardian, and Dragonling Mechanic. Dealing 3 damage to the enemy hero isn't the best thing, and a 3/3 for 4 with Divine Shield might get a nice trade, but Dragonling Mechanic I think is really good because you're getting a Yeti in 2 different pieces, which diversifies you a little bit in case they have a way of just dealing 5 to something. Now they still have a 2/1 to contend with. And also, Shamans have the ability to get a card called Bloodlust, which gives everything +2 attack this turn. It's basically an overrun effect. And the ability to make multiple creatures is often pretty good. Flame Tongue Totem. So yeah, like I was saying, you go like Feral Spirits in the Flame Tongue Totem because you have multiple creatures. It also has this thing. You put that in the middle of the 2, they both get buffed, and then you can just start beating down on everything. It's a really powerful card, and it's a must deal with. Typically, you want some taunt in your deck before you start really being super happy about this, but alas, we don't have a lot of taunt, so hopefully we can pick up some stuff, and also some early game, because I don't like the idea of my curve starting at 3, but then again, I don't really like the idea of playing a Frostwolf Grunt, because you can get basically anything that they play on turn 2 will trade for this. So it's not that good unless you can buff it, and we can't. We can buff the power, but it's the toughness that you really care about. So I think we're just going to take Sinjin Shield Master. He's a 3/5 taunt for 4. You're typically going to get a 2 for 1 out of him if you play him early. He's just a solid role player. I don't want to take a Dust Devil. We already have a couple of big beefy guys that start being down at the end, and Acolyte of Pain is good card draw. We don't have a way of consistently getting card draw out of him, but you can probably get 2 cards out of him, and if you're lucky, you can maybe even kill a creature with him. So it's a pretty nice card to have. Ooh, Hex. That is one of the best cards that Shamans have. So let's say they drop something like a War Golem on you. It's a 7/7. You have no way of dealing with it. Well, now it's no one with taunt. So you just bop it on the head with any of your creatures, and then you start going to town. I think it's a really, really good card. Yeah, I think you just have to take the removal. Stormforged, Axe, Corehound, and Archmage. Archmage is really good. Spell power, or spell damage, lets you deal an extra damage, so like your Lightning Storm deals 3 to 4 damage, which can get a lot more stuff. But at the same time, Stormforged Axe is really good. I mean, you get to swing with a weapon 3 times, because that's its durability, doing 2 damage each time. And yes, you take the damage that the creature has, but we need some early game stuff that we can do, and right now we just don't have that. So we're gonna take the axe. I mean, Selshi Deckhand is bad. Scarlet Crusader has Divine Shield, so the 1 toughness doesn't matter that much because you get to. It still takes 2 things to get through it and has 3 power, so you're probably gonna get a 2-for-1 out of it, or at least some extra mana out of it from them. But we are lousy with 3s right now, and I just like the idea of getting some early board control with a couple of axes. All right. Flame Tongue Totem, Windspeaker, and Priestess of Elune. Priestess isn't that good. Restoring 4 health to your hero isn't that big of a deal. Typically, if you're in a situation where you would have lived or died by 4 health, you're probably still going to die the next turn. Giving a friendly minion Wind Fury is pretty good if you can do something like put on a Yeti, because then you can just like start picking stuff away, or even in the ultra late game, put it on a War Golem or something. We have a lot of creatures, though, don't we? We're a very creature-heavy deck. So I think I just want the Flame Tongue Totem. You can play it later on in the game when you have like a 3 and a 4 out, and put it between them, and just make your guys huge. I think that's what we're going to go with. I think it's better than the Windspeaker, but I could be entirely wrong. Alright, Ancient Watcher, Abomination, and Cold Light Oracle. If you have a lot of silence in your deck, you can get rid of that can't attack clause on. So let's say I had the thing that dealt 1 damage and silence something. I could play this on turn 2, and then on turn 3, I spent 2 cards to have a 4/4. While that's good, I don't think it's great. So we're probably going to not take that, because I don't have any silence yet, and I don't have any way of giving this taunt or anything cool. Abomination is risky, I think, for us, because we have a lot of stuff that has 2 toughness, at least in the early game. It is a taunt, and it does have a death rattle. Oh, we haven't done death rattle yet. When it dies, it does something. So when this thing dies, it deals 2 damage to everything. Actual everything. So it can wipe the board a good bit, and each player drawing 2 cards is bad. I don't like this card a lot. I don't like this card a lot. I think this card's just bad. So I'm going to take the just bad over the terrible. I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to do it. Alright, there's the Spellbreaker. He has the Battle Cry Silence, and he's a 4/3, all for 4 mana. That is beautiful. I will gladly take this. X is super good, but I'd like to, you know, have multiple ways of dealing with stuff. So I'm going to take the Silence. Oh, sweet, Lightning Bolt. Yep, that's definitely better than both of these guys. This could be fine if I have multiple axes, so it's a 4/3 for 2, but I mean, removal's removal. Stormwind Champion, Booty Bay Bodyguard, and 6 Swampoos. The issue with Booty Bay Bodyguard is 4 damage isn't that hard to deal. So you're basically saying trade off your 4 or 5 with my 5/4, and I paid an extra mana for it. Because if they play a Yeti on turn 4 and then you go turn 5 Booty Bay Bodyguard, they can go, sure, trade. You paid an extra mana for your thing. Stormwind Champion's really good. We have a lot of creatures, so dropping this in the late game can get really good. We don't really have a ton of stuff in the late game, but I think we really need some more 2s that we can play out. You don't want to be sitting around giving away board control, because once you give it away, it's really hard to get it back. So I'm going to take the Swampoos. Ooh, Manatee Totem, Sun Fury Protector, and Young Priestess. Young Priestess is bad because it dies to everything because it has 1 toughness. Sun Fury Protector is good because you can play it later on in the game, like when you have out a 3 and a 4. Give them both taunt and then protect something that you have out that you don't want dying, like let's say a Manatee Totem. But this thing is always going to be a 3-mana cantrip. Occasionally, if you can get it behind some taunt, or you can be controlling the board with either, like, you know, Feral Spirits comes out, then you play that, and then the turn after you play Abomination or something, it's going to be really difficult for them to deal with the Manatee Totem. So, because you just get a bunch of card advantage. So I think I'm just going to take that. Alright, Leper Gnome, Oasis Snapjaw, and Stormpike Commando. I don't want the turtle. Leper Gnome, he has 1 toughness, but he also is guaranteed to get his damage in, so if you, it can be like a 1 mana deal 2 to the player if they are one of the classes that can deal with it effectively. If they're not, it can probably trade for their 3/2 the next turn and also deal 2 to the player. So it's risky, but I think I just want some stuff for the later game now. My early game looks pretty stacked at this point, so I'm going to take the Stormpike Commando. Give me a way of just, you know, murdering things near the end of the game. That card's not good because of the 1 toughness, and then Direwolf Alpha. Adjacent minions get better. It's just a really good thing to have. Another Lightning Bolt for board control, or do we want the Taunt? We have a couple things that are really good behind taunts, like our totems. What do we have for taunts? We have 1, 2, 3 taunts? Yeah, we probably need another taunt. How do we do RE for removal? A couple. As much as I would love to take a Lightning Bolt right now, I think we just need the taunt. I know removal's removal, but we really need a way of dealing with like their early game, like dealing with their early game stuff that isn't running our dudes' faces into it. And this can probably get a 2-for-1. I'm gonna take the Shield Master. Bloodlust, good. Good. We have a ton of early games, so we're probably gonna be able to go turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. And then we can just Bloodlust and just beat someone to death. The alternative is the Silverhand Knight, which is, you know, pretty good value, but an Dark Iron Dwarf, there are words, is really good value as well, but I think if we're just going to be playing a lot of cheap creatures, Bloodlust can just get insane. Like, it's just an overrun. It's kind of awesome. So we're going to take the Bloodlust. That might not be the right play. I honestly have no idea, but we'll find out. Dread Corsair, we're probably not... We don't have a lot of weapons, so it's probably not what we want. Harvest Golem is really good. You're probably getting a 2-for-1 out of it. And then we have a Venture Mercenary. Our minions cost more, but a lot of our minions are like 3s and 4s, so we can probably go like 2, 3, 4, this, and then 3, 4, and then have this die. Like, we can get some efficient trades out of this because it comes down so early. So do we want to do that? Or do we just want the consistent early game 2-for-1? I think we need more finishers. We really don't have that much that's for the late game. We have like a Boulder for Silver and no Golem, so... Alright. Gadgetron Auctioneer, Cold Light Seer, and Lava Burst. Not playing a tribal deck. I don't think we have a ton of spells. We're kind of creature heavy at this point, so we're not getting the value off of drawing cards. And Lava Burst is super good removal. Dealing 5 damage to something is probably really hard for someone to deal with, so we're going to take that. And then we're going to play. Woot. Alright, hopefully this is actually recording. Because I don't want to spend an hour recording a video just to have it not render like last time. Because that was super annoying. So let's see what happens here. And we got someone. Who do we got? We have a worthy opponent. That's good. I don't like playing against really slow guy because, you know, he plays really slow.
Malfurion. I must protect.
Alright, so he's one of the guys who has the ability to do something in the early game with his hero power. He can deal 1 damage to something, and he gets an armor. Armor is basically like, you can go beyond your maximum health by putting armor on. And you break it by dealing X damage. It's pretty simple stuff. Well, we're not using any of those because we want early game stuff. I mean, if we really need to use that, we can. You know, let's just ship it all. Draw a completely new hand. I'd like to get some 2s that I can actually play out. Alright, that didn't work out. Alright, so as you see, we just got this coin. What is this coin? Well, it lets us get a mana crystal for a turn. It's basically the, oh, we're sorry that you're playing second and you're always going to be behind 1 mana because he's always going to be doing something a little bit better. So this lets me go, next turn I can go coin Feral Spirits. And because he made a Panther, that's actually probably pretty good value. The alternative is to just play out the Stormforge action, beat it in the head, and save this for maybe like a Shield Master the next turn, or even just a really big turn 4 Mercenary. Well, no, I just said I'm not using that.
Elements guide me.
Alright, so I'll do that. Next turn, hopefully I can rip a 2-drop off the top because I have the Overload, so I'll only have access to 2 of my mana. I can always just play out a Totem if I need to, though, which is fine. Alright, so he's just gonna hit me in the head for 1. Alright, that's fine. If he wants to spend his whole turn doing that, I have no issues. He has nothing on the board, so I'm just going to go coin Manatide Totem. It's just, I mean, and then next turn I can play out a Taunt, and I also have the Axe, so... This way, because I'm probably going to be able to draw a second card off of this, because unless he has like wants to spend an entire removal spell on something that is putting no pressure on him. And if he wants to do that, then I'm fine with it. I mean, it's already gotten me a 2-for-1. Alright, he's going up to 6 mana. That's not good. Yeah, that's good. That's a good play on his part. So here, I think I'm just going to play out the Shield Master. It takes 2 bops from him, and it's probably fine. So he'll hit this and knock off the shield. I'll go to 1, then he'll probably bite it. But then I can just hit it with my axe or, you know, any number of things. So I can hit it with the axe, so he plays out something.
Not a morning person.
Nah, I don't really care about that much right now. At least not yet. You just run out of Venture Co. and hope he sacks his whole board into it. Alternatively, I can run out the Venture Co. and hit that. And then next turn I'll have, like, it's +3. So I'll have Jungle Panther. And these are both spells, so I can just play both of these even. Yeah.
Elements guide me.
Let's kill that. Play that out. At this point, he has to respond to this, because a 7/6 is absolutely huge at this point in the game. So hopefully he doesn't have a way of dealing with it right now. He might. I mean, for all I know, he'll slam something big here. Or he'll do that. Freeze is an ability that I didn't see in the draft. What Freeze does is it freezes it, so it can't attack during its next turn that it could attack. So it's pretty annoying, but, you know, it happens. So Lightning Storm could kill the imps in that, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run out the Feral Spirits, and then use the Lax. Nope, that doesn't even work like that.
What to do?
Huh. I'm probably not going to Lightning Storm. One of the totems gives spell power, so I'm going to try to see if I can get that one. So I'm not playing both of these spells this turn. Alright, that's the healer. So that doesn't do it the way I wanted. And if this overloads me by 2, then I'm at 5 mana next turn. So I can play out some stuff. Yeah, okay, this is fine. We'll just do that. So I get my 7/6 back next turn, so I can start attacking, and now he has to sack his entire team into killing one of these, and he can bop the other one. He can shapeshift and trade off imps. I mean, at this point, I'm basically just trying to keep my hands on the board control. We're pretty even right now, so... And I'm down a lot on health, but I think I have a small card advantage on him, so... We'll see what he does here. So I have access to 5 mana next turn, so I guess I can drop this if he doesn't kill these.
Where shall I strike?
And that'll give me some extra stuff I can do. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's really good, actually. Alright. So what's he going to do here? Do that. Do that. Oh, he's going to rush me down? Oh. Okay. Bold strategy. Huh. Well, I can run this into this, and that'll free up my mana. But I think I'm gonna Lightning Storm, so I'm gonna try to hit the spell power totem here. Did not get there. Alright. Well, let's see how this goes. Hopefully I can kill this off. Alright. That's fine, I guess. I don't want to take the 6 damage there. So I think...
Hey, how you doing?
I'm gonna kill that, trade those off,
Guide me.
and then kill that, go to 12. And the board is clear. I have a nice card advantage, but I'm low on health, so hopefully he doesn't play an Iron Bark here. It's an 8/8 with taunt for 8.
We must cleanse
It
the sunlight.
kind of bonkers. Alright, and he's gonna kill this, which is gonna buff that up. No? Wow, that's interesting. Alright, so I think I'm gonna just play out the Shield Master. That only gives +2. How do I want to do this? I mean, I could just spell break that. That's probably the right play, actually. Because that'll knock it all the way back down to a 2/3. Yeah.
Your magic
Let's
shall
silence
not
that.
save me.
And then we'll play the totem here. So then we can deal 3 damage to the 2/3, 2 damage to 3/2, and then we have a bunch of power sitting on the board, and the next turn we can play out some taunt to protect it, we can bolt something to kill it. I'm not really worried about the 8/8 right now, because we can just hit it and then do that. So yeah, we're in a good position. We just need to make sure he doesn't have any haymakers, because I really can't deal with that at this moment. Alright, that's actually really annoying, because I have a 6/3, but... Alright, I can play with that. So I think I'm going to play out the Sending Shield Master, and the Acolyte of Pain.
Let the pain speak to me.
Get a totem, and then I'm just going to go to him directly. This way he has to hit this, and then I have a 3/3 Acolyte of Pain, which I can start beating down with, and also drawing cards with if I need to. So basically he has to deal with the 3/5, and he dealt with it. Great. I'm not a fan of that card, but sometimes when it works, it really works. Alright, he's going to continue rushing me down, which is bad. So that's what? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So he's not just dead here. So I think
What to do?
play
We
that,
must cleanse the Sunwell.
buff that.
Bring the pain.
That knocks that off. And then
Die, mage.
I can kill that. And then I think I just want to draw up my most power, because then next turn I can...
Job's done.
I was actually supposed to be over there, but whatever. So then next turn I have Lightning Bolt, Bloodlust, and I can just do as much damage as I can possibly do.
You gotta be kidding me!
Alright. I don't think he can play anything after dropping that. So let's see what I draw here. An axe. Alright, so this is 15 damage on its own, which pushes him to 17. And that's 19, so I think he's just dead. Let's see.
Die, mage.
Yeah, good. Alright, the math worked. A little bit of flunging there at the end, but it worked out. Alright, I'm actually going to turn the game sounds down a little bit. That was kind of loud for me, so it's probably also loud for you. Alright, so we got a key. So we're up to Wood League. Let's keep climbing the ladder, folks. I like this deck. I think it has some neat things it can attack with. Some neat angles it can attack on. So, yeah. So let's see what we do here. I think we have a good matchup against most decks. Because we're not really weak to any one class's particular way of doing stuff. We have ways of getting burst damage out, but we also have ways of like getting some card advantage and some control stuff going on, so
Uther.
I like our chances here.
Fight with honor.
For Doomhammer.
Alright, so we get an extra card, and that's a Yeti. Let's toss the Cleric. I like the idea of a Minotai Totem, because if he doesn't do anything in the early game, we can play that. The Lightning Storm wipes out all of his Silver Hand recruits, because he just makes a bunch of 1/1s. And then the Yeti is just really good value. And we can even play this on turn 3 if you want to. Alright, that's a little bit awkward. Because now we have to, like, we don't have anything, yeah. Alright. We really don't want to just run these out into the board, because they don't really do that much.
Reporting for duty.
So we get here, Feral Spirits. If I go coin Feral Spirits, I have, what, 1 mana to do anything with next turn? But at the same time, it's some pretty nice board. And the turn after that, I can go Chillwind Yeti. Yeah, that's probably fine.
Job's done.
2 2/3s for my entire second and third turn. That's probably fine. We'll see, though. I could have also just made a totem, but I mean, I'm not really super needing totems right now. And I think that this makes it so this thing basically is just dead in the water. Unless he has a way of buffing it. And he didn't have a way of buffing it, so. Are you gonna attack at that? I'll take it. Alright, so we got nothing like we thought we would. Because I think we only have lightning bolts that are 1 mana, so that's fine. I don't believe he can target it to buff it. So if his plan was to play that and then buff it and then attack to just kill one of my guys, then he's probably going to be sad. But I'm assuming he'll just run that into the 2/3.
May my ancestors.
Alright. And he trades those off. So we've already gotten a non-zero amount of value off of those creatures. Well, I can play with the Flame Tongue Totem and trade those off. Or I can just play out the Shield Master and then wait for him to trade. That's probably the better play. If he boops that, then I'm sad. Yeah, that actually, the right play was to play the Totem and Totem. Because then I could have killed that, because now he can hit this, go to 1 toughness, and then he has 5, so then I have to trade this into it as well. So that wasn't my wisest decision I've made. But, you know, I make poor choices. Maybe he won't see it. Oh, sweet, he didn't see it. That was actually really good for me. I'd much rather him do that than do a bunch of really good trades. Well, a 6 Swamp Ooze is really good against him because he has some really powerful weapons, so I'm going to hold on to it for now. I think I'm going to trade this off, or not trade this off, but kill that. This goes down to a 3/3, so if he wants, he has to trade this across. And then I think because I have a taunt wall up, I'm gonna I think I'll play out the Manatee Totem and then make another totem. And then end the turn. This way I can start drawing an extra card every turn. Because as of right now he has, like, if he has something with haste, then he can trade that off and kill that. Or if he has a spell he can kill it, but... Oh, he has kings? Alright, Blessing of Kings is really good. So now I have to deal 3 damage to that to kill it.
Reporting for duty.
And... I can have 3 damage to kill it. I mean, I could just Lightning Storm to kill off both of them. I also have a Flame Tongue, but then I'd have to sack both of them into it. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to play that first, so I get the buff.
What to do?
I could also just run that out, and then he has to sack that into it, and I still get to keep my Manatee Totem. But if he has another way of dealing with it, then I still have an 8/3 I have to deal with at that point.
What to do?
Too bad he didn't get the 1/1 totem, because then I could have killed it off. I think I can get better value out of the Lightning Storm. So let's drop that. If he has any way of silencing it or dealing with it effectively, then we're in a lot of trouble, but as of right now, we have a shot of him doing that and then the board getting wiped. Oh god. Alright. So that went about as well as we could have had.
I thank you.
I mean, we still lose our totem, but he spent 2 cards, and we were going to lose one of the totems anyways. And this is basically like spending 3 cards, because he blessed it. Alright, board gets wiped, so I lose my totem, but... How many cards do I have in hand? Like 1 billion? So yeah, I'm pretty pleased right now where I'm sitting anyways. So what do I do here? While I have a chance, let's do this.
Job's done.
I also have board wipe with the Lightning Storm if he plays some tiny stuff, and at this point I also have a lot of stuff I can do here. All right, a 4/6, that's good.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
5/6 is also good. Or 5/7 rather. If I put the Flame Tongue over on this side, if I put a Flame Tongue here, then that goes up to 5, so I can hit it with that, and then Lightning Storm to wipe the board, and I get to draw a card off of that. That seems good. And I have 8, so I can do that. And then, whoop. Hit with that. See what I draw before I make any other decisions. Dragon Link Mechanic. Yeah, that's probably fine. Play that there, so it gets the buffs off of both of those. And then we'll Lightning Storm, which buffs that as well. And kills both those guys. Then we hit him in the face. It's a little awkward with all of these having to have things adjacent, and my board positioning probably isn't the best, but I think it's fine. Hopefully he doesn't have a way of wiping my board. If he does, then I'm in a lot of trouble. Alright, that's fine. I have ways of dealing with that. So I think I'm going to run out the Yeti and the Panther, maybe? No, I think I'm going to do this in the Panther. And then I can hit that into that. Yeah, because then that dies. Do I want to trade both of these for that, though? I don't think I do.
Just me and Mr. Right.
So those are good value there. Then I'll drop this over here. He'll probably hit that, and then I can just trade that off, but that got some decent value, right? I think? Probably not? No, not really. Well, hit him in the face. Alright, so let's see what he does now. I mean, he only has a 3-1 out. Alright, now he's got a 2-5 as well. So he trades that off, which makes both my totems get bigger. Loses his shield. What else does he have?
Just me and Mr.
His own mechanic? That's fine. I really wish I had some taunt, because if I did, I could just start going to town, but alas, I have no taunt. Alright, so I hit that on that. And then again, I'm in a situation where I don't have like a ton of really good stuff I can do. I know it's not the right play. You never want to be intentionally rushing someone down. But I'm pretty sure these two are going to die, so if either of them do, then he gets buffed. So that's why I placed that there. And I think with the same logic, I'll place that there. And do I take the 6-2 out of stealth? I think he'll just trade this off for it. Sure, let's do it. Put him to 8, make him have something, because if he doesn't have a way of dealing with all this stuff, which, I mean, he has. Okay, so he just concedes. Alright, sweet. 2-0 to start off here. Very happy with that. Sweet, and I even earned some gold for one of my daily quests. And I got a reward. Sweet, so everything's coming up MiniMark. Alright, well, I'm going to stop the video there. And now that we are in, it looks like Polished Wood League. Fancy. And let's see how far we can get. And I'll see you guys later with more Hearthstone, because I felt bad. Bye-bye.